So how we fix that? Same as the upper traps, but we're going to have our hands positioned a little bit differently. So my hand will be resting on his shoulder again, pushing down on the shoulder, and then on the back of his head, and I'm going to gently push down the shoulder and gently push forward on the head here. The same thing as before. We want to make sure that we're being conservative on the energy that we're using in these stretches, because the neck is a very complex point and it's got very sensitive nerves and muscles up in there, and we don't want to over stretch and take them into a point of where we can cause any injury to people here. So now Andy's going to push the back of his head into my hand while I put pressure forward, and I'm still keeping pressure on that shoulder over here. So that shoulder will always have pressure on it, and we will only use a little bit of pressure forward on his head when we're doing the contractions here. Again, we can mix up our time frame, 10 seconds through to a minute, whatever works for your client best, but start off doing 10 seconds or 15 seconds on and off and work your way up. Now if you relax your head there for me, that's it. We can see we get a bit of a drop, so we got about 5 degrees out of that. That was actually quite a nice range of motion in the movement there. I'm pretty well only using the weight of my hand on the back of his head. I'm not really pushing forward at all, because again, I want to be very careful of those neck muscles. We don't want to put too much tension into it when we're starting off, because they're usually so tight and in such a holding pattern, they're usually pretty resistive to tension change. So we've always got to warm it up and start getting it to be receptive to that idea of change. And if you push back into my hand again for me, Andy, that's it. So now I'm only just resisting the little bit of tension that he's pushing into my hand. There is not a lot of pressure here from both of us. Now, are you feeling any discomfort at all through your neck?
No, I feel good.
All right, and we relax. That's it, and then you can see again we get to our new point of bind. So every time we finish this, you'll see where there's a new point of bind, and that's when the head will stop moving. So like in our upper trap, we're now going to grab hold of Andy's head and just pull that up nice and gently into a neutral position. Again, to make sure that we're being very careful of those neck muscles and to not have them try and activate themselves directly after being stretched like that.